The Ebola-infected man fighting for his life in a Dallas hospital could now face prosecution in his home country of Liberia. A Liberian airport official says if Thomas Eric Duncan lied on a questionnaire he filled out before flying to the U.S., charges will be filed. The Associated Press has a copy of that questionnaire, and they are reporting that it says he did not have any contact with anyone with Ebola. However, there are reports that he took a sick relative to a clinic. That relative later died from Ebola. So let's talk about this with our legal ladies. Judge Glenda Hatchett is a former juvenile court judge and criminal defense attorney. Tanya Miller also with us. All right, so wow, this is really quite the signal that Liberia is sending, right, Tanya? That,
absolutely.
You know, if you falsify any information on this questionnaire,
absolutely.
And this is a deadly virus, you will seek prosecution. How would they go about, or we will seek, as a country, will seek prosecution. How do they go about that?
Well, of course, like with any kind of charge or criminal allegation, you have to investigate. What is the proof? It's one thing to say that he lied on a form. It's another thing to prove that he knew this person who he provided aid to had Ebola. So the question will be, like it is in any criminal case, what he knew, what symptoms was she displaying, and what exactly did he check no to on that form. If they can definitely prove that he lied, he fabricated, and he did that knowingly, then ultimately they do have enough to prosecute him. The question will be, as a practical matter, whether he will survive to be prosecuted. I think that's the least of his worries at this point in time.
And so there are interesting, I guess, components here. If he survives, thank goodness he survives, you know, Ebola, but then he's got to face prosecution. The other way of looking at it is Liberia says we've got to send a strong signal to anybody that this is serious business and we need people to be as honest as possible, as forthright as possible, so as to prevent anyone else from being exposed.
I think it's a deterrent, frankly. As a practical matter, I mean, I'm hoping he will survive, but he's very sick. Let's assume he survives and he goes back and they do prosecute him. It really is not for this man. It is a signal for all the people who are traveling from this country. And the president, who has been very, very passionate on this issue, doesn't want, as a practical matter, Frederica, for her economy to be further eroded. She does not need these airplanes to stop flying there. She does not need for there to be any more scrutiny and any more backlash. And so she has to say we're going to take. Now, let me just say to you, though, legally, as Tanya is saying, they've got to prove it. They've got to prove that he knew it.
That he knew that she had Ebola. He knew she was sick because he was assisting, but did he know what she had?
She was also pregnant.
A contagious thing.
And she could have been, and in fact, that's what they were. And so one of the neighbors who saw the whole incident of these things, the ambulance didn't come. That's what happened. These neighbors rushed to her aid. She collapses. They get her to the hospital. The question is, did he know? Did he know that she was sick? Now, this neighbor says that she died afterwards, that he had left and did not know. So that's going to be the real question. What did he know?
Now, what about potentially the U.S.? Would the U.S. consider facing prosecution, anyone facing prosecution, if they entered the country?
Well, it depends.
Knowing they've been exposed? I
think it depends. Ultimately, if there were an official document that asked someone, have you been in a U.S. document, have you been in contact with anyone with Ebola, or have you, whatever the question would be. If you falsify an official document, you can be charged. That is a law in probably every state in our union, and the federal government also has making false statements to a federal official or in a federal
proceeding. You fill out your customs forms when you enter a country.
Your tax forms, all kinds of forms.
Face a penalty.
You can't lie on important government forms. So if we get to that point, which I'm hoping we don't, I don't think we will, but if we ever did, certainly a person could face prosecution here if they lied knowingly.
All right.
My big issue is that he went to the hospital and didn't tell them that he might have been exposed.
That's a problem.
Well, he did say where he came from Liberia.
Yes, but he didn't say that he was in an area and he might have been exposed, and they sent him home with antibiotics. And I would have hoped that he would have said, look, check me for this. And so he goes back and more people could have been exposed.
Still so many mysterious mysteries around this. Lots of questions unanswered. All right, Tanya Miller, Glenda Hatchett, good to see both of you ladies.
Good to be here, Fred. Thank you.